For as long as gamers have pitted their skills against one another, we've witnessed plays that have become burned into our memories simply because of how incredible they are.
Stays on the flank, stays on the side. TP coming in, Faker looking to make the flank against Ruler! Owner goes in! And again, the combos are clean! The hostile takeover is damn well hostile! T1 looking to leave no survivors alive. 369 admits the entire team will get absolutely nothing! T1 in the clutch are too damn clean!
But for the fiercest of competitors among us, sometimes dunking on your opponent just isn't enough. Sometimes you've just gotta add a little spice to truly let them know.
Easy motherfucker!
There's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me, and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my out of your mouth.
And when you heard that Eichelman would be taking his spot, what then did you think?
Easy money!
But when it comes to Counter-Strike, there's a singular, iconic phrase that's woven itself into the fabric of the game's already rich history. A shout that asks us to consider, are we done, or do we want another?
Kota!
3 Deagle headshots. 1, 2, 3.
So where exactly did Kota come from? How did it become inseparably tied to one of Counter-Strike's most revered weapons? And why has it been able to transcend cultural boundaries like perhaps no other meme in esports?
Kota! 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 Me fala que você Kota, véi!
All right, guys, this is the last episode of the season for Overexplained, and we've really loved doing this show again. If you've missed our previous episodes, please go check those out. And if you're not already subbed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please, it really does help us. Thank you.
Overexplained is made possible by generous subscriptions from viewers like you.
Okay, so first off, the term Kota derives from Brazilian Portuguese and is actually a contraction of quer outra. Quer outra is more formal in that it translates to do you want another, whereas Kota is the more colloquial sounding do you wanna. It's the equivalent of if Miles walked up to me and asked,
do you want to get lunch? What?
If he said it that way, I'd be worried that the dude's hard drive was defragging or that he was secretly some kind of extra-dimensional being. Anyway, that's the linguistic origin of the expression out of the way. The question then is, how did it become culturally significant to Counter-Strike? Well, to understand that, we need to go back to 2016. It was a year marked by Kermit's defection to the dark side, Lord Harambe's tragic passage from martyr to memedom, and a time where a lot of people unfortunately saw Hulk Hogan's hog. But more importantly, in the world of Counter-Strike, 2016 was when Brazil was at the peak of its power. Yep, just roll the clip. Just roll it. You know the one.
It's gonna hit the ground there as Cold. Oh! What? A jumping double from Cold! What is going on right now? How does he do this?
Off the back of that jaw-dropping RNGesus blessed play, Luminosity Gaming's now iconic roster made their way to the grand finals of MLG Columbus and wrote history.
Guardian versus Taco, it may just be destined to be, and it's Luminosity winning their first major championship!
Claiming Brazil's first global offensive major wasn't enough for Fallen and the boys. Fast forward to ESL Cologne a few months later, where under the banner of SK Gaming, they repeated, cementing themselves as a true dynasty.
We now crown the Brazilian side SK as the kings of Counter-Strike, the best Counter-Strike team in the world.
Now, it's safe to say that this era was hugely influential on the Brazilian CS community, and a particularly interested observer of that success was a rising 21-year-old star, Lucas One. You'll remember him as the talented rifler who later helped Immortals' his own Brazilian roster to the grand finals of the PGL Krakow Major before getting knocked out by eventual winners Gambit. Although, he was also tied to the infamous shitshow in Montreal that the team just never really recovered from.
Ah, that's a shame.
Anyway, back to 2016. While Lucas was still just beginning to make waves on the global competitive stage, he was building his reputation online as a content creator. And it just so happens that one of CSGO's most culturally transcendent memes came from his stream. Now, this dude streamed a lot, so I can't say with absolute certainty when he uttered his now famous war cry for the first time, but I can narrow it down to 2 clips that started making the rounds in fall of 2016. There's this one where he's talking about the term, so chronologically it might be the oldest.
Se duvidar, eu vou te falar aqui agora o que vai acontecer. Quer outra? Então toma aqui a São Cosme e Damião. Aqui é São Cosme e Damião, my friend. Você tá de brincadeira comigo?
But the other clip in question is this one.
Deu pezinho bom pra ele, então. Já vai, Boltz? Tô falando, quer outra? Quer outra? Quer outra, Boltz? Eu vou dar outra.
In my opinion, this one is way better because we get a more hype version of the Kota, along with the iconic Jive bolts. It's just perfect. But regardless of which clip came first, beyond the phrase and its charismatic speaker, both of them share a third element, the Deagle, Counter-Strike's timeless dispenser of the crispiest one-taps.
He has to eventually make a little bit of noise just to fire that Deagle. Oh, there's the head. Oh my God! The 180! The spin and he clutches it!
Now, obviously Kota was already a Brazilian-Portuguese phrase, but thanks to the popularity of Lucas's clips, the expression became associated with plays involving everyone's favorite hand cannon. Although 1Digs certainly are where it's often exclaimed the most, it's also been used by chat in response to one-taps more generally over time. The meaning is basically, you want some more of that terrible thing I just gave you? You want that? Because I can keep giving it to you. Kota's use in this way then is a quip or jibe. You're taunting your opponent in classic action movie style. It's not too dissimilar to yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Now, of course, there's been a culture of this kind of jeering in gaming for a long-ass time. It hasn't always been very inventive or mature or exactly friendly, but in esports, it's occasionally been, just perfect. I don't know what to say. I don't do chef's kisses, do
There's no up in you little shits! Still get A! I'm old as shit with the worst gun in the game!
Kota fits into that history nicely, but less as a malicious insult and more as a hype-driven war cry. Even more than 7 years after the Brazilian era of CSGO came to an end, Kota has proven itself to be an enduring meme, one that's been widely embraced by non-Brazilian players all around the world.
Kota with AK.
Oh. Kota!
Need more kills. That's a beautiful double headshot. Yeah, he wants the jump. How is that possible?
Hell, even the GOAT has used it to call his shot before even making a play.
Kota. Kota. Kota.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Kota is part taunt or quip and part defiant, passionate battle cry. So what is it about people, especially gamers, that makes us want to shout boldly in the face of adversity?
All right, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my God, he just ran in.
Well, as far back as the Middle Ages, Crusaders were known for shouting Deus Vult, and later, during World War I, Italian officers were known to scream Avanti Savoia. So clearly humans have been using noise as a source of motivation during conflict for a long, long time. I still think animals do it better though. Anyways, these types of rallying cries haven't just been used to rev up human meat shields. They've also been used tactically for thousands of years as a means of getting into the head of one's adversary. Arrian of Nicomedia was a Greek-born governor of a Roman province in what is now part of modern Turkey, and in a letter he ordered his legions to maneuver silently into their formations and to get as close as possible to the enemy soundlessly before the legionnaires all let out a cry to startle the enemy as they entered the fray. Fast forward a couple millennia and we're seeing this type of psychological warfare being deployed on digital battlegrounds.
But where is Cadian? Who's the sacrifice? Trying to swing around the corner, but Cadian will deliver. 5-1, and he's feeling himself.
Yeah, Techno.
Some players, Cadian is my favorite example here, have become notorious barkers at LAN events, and it seems to be at least a bit intentional.
I think, some banter is
I mean, it's a freaking competition. It's one of the biggest tournaments of the year. I heard that Twitter already is molding a little bit.
As Kadian points out, this type of thing makes everyone a bit more invested. It elevates these tense moments, and that can be compelling as a viewer.
Listen, it's a competition. If you think this is the worst thing that's been said, I think you should watch some of the other games as well. I mean, one of the reasons as well, why there is the adrenaline and stuff is also because it was a tight game.
Shouting Kota can both psych out an enemy and help hype us up, so it makes sense why it would be so successful. But I think it's really important that we acknowledge that the Brazilian dimension really does add a whole lot to it. It both reflects and amplifies the nation's passion for this beautiful game and centers these intense moments created when the right shot in the right place is a confirmed kill. As for Lucas, he's been inactive as a pro player for a few years now, but he continues to stream CS, and he's creatively found ways to monetize his timeless catchphrase. And even though he wasn't able to share major credentials with the Brazilian legends who blazed a trail before him, he's given the CS world something that's far more enduring than any dynasty ever could be.
Kota! Pode vir, pai!
Speaking of Kota, we had so much fun bringing this series back for you guys, so let us know in the comments if you want some more episodes.
All right, Josh, do you want to get lunch?
I think I'll skip. I ate not too long ago.
Are you sure? All right. Do you want to just shoot some more episodes?
I think I've had enough for now. In a time where a lot of people unfortunately saw Hulk Hogan's hog. By the way, that was a fresh read. I had not seen that line. I saw hog, I saw Hulk Hogan hog out of the, in the side view mirrors, and I was like, oh, we're gonna get to this. I don't want to do a chef's kiss. Molto bene. Sorry.